I'm gonna start the broadcast.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as 6 feet.
Yeah, as long as 6 feet, that's okay.
Oh, so,
Oh, no, no, it's good. We measured it out. It's
yeah.
fine.
Also, but also, yeah, okay.
Sure.
That's fine. Oh, boy.
Well, we're only not gonna be able to open up at all.
That's right, that's right.
I mean, like hairdressers and barbershops and stuff like that.
This lady friend who's, looks at my friend's, wife. She lives in Oslo, she came with me the other day to, the house, for my Mother's Day. I went to the temple, we wanted to Memorial Park also. I don't forget that. So I'm gonna check out for Memorial Day tomorrow, when I leave. Yeah, so, it's, I think, it's a, met her, she's a Portuguese lady, 76 years of age, and lives alone, and, there's a son living in mainland, one son. But her husband and I were good friends, was at the station, he came to me, but he's her machinist, retired, and he was a month younger than I am. So she's always calling me, so, especially my flowers and stuff, she's better than I am. Yeah.
Ten o'clock?
58. 9:58.
Oh, this is what you do.
Yeah, there's gonna be an audio visual component. I'm gonna have a slideshow, so you can, well, hopefully see what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Nine 59.
Hello there, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to our All War Memorial Day family service. Thank you so much for joining us. And to all of you who are watching online, either in Hawaii or the mainland, welcome. Ohayo gozaimasu. We're going to be starting our service today with Vandana Tisarana and the Three Treasures. You can find them on page 17 in your service books. Okay, if you will please put your hands together. Gasho. Namadavutsu, Namadavutsu, Namadavutsu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Buddham Saranam Gacchami Dhammam Saranam Gacchami Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Difficult is it to receive life in human form. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma. Now we hear it. If we do not receive awakening in the present life, then in what life can we hope to receive it? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we, together as one, begin on the great path of enlightenment, holding in our hearts the supreme aspiration. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we, together as one, enter the storehouse of the Dharma and attain true wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we, together as one, uniting in harmony, strive to live for the enlightenment of all beings. The incomparable, deep, and profound Dharma is difficult to encounter, even through countless ages of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Let us endeavor to thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Buddha Dharma. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Thank you. We will now begin the chanting portion of our service. You can find it on page 20 in your red service books.
예세미다 홍강가 所在世願こういう本願力へこういう文上昇一心一脈独大法化一脈有大へ収集特使連携造成大即昇進量発昇進有門の人間人図入所時恩時王下恩時論乱上天使上皇乱消防差来三蔵ルシ重量教恩賞宣教美楽法臨人菩薩論中下報道因果天聖願法言栄光有他力少女心因心人各年本部新人法承知承知即涅槃一心無量光明道小修行回復系同者結晶道難所唯名浄土活入万全自義変言宗変満徳合感染症三部三神慶音音増魔法へ同意一生増悪地具税一安妖怪商業化全能独名無所意公愛上三陽逆悪公明明後見因縁外有本願大智界行者小中今後心教理一年相互行為大道逆三人即小発祥四上楽原始公開一大教延期安養間一切先祖出身反戦人法権二道小面具各者悪人一生無我薬剤費摂取中煩悩証言水不見大非無限上昇が本次元空明仏教連民全幕本部に新宗教商工編集先着本願具悪性現代生じ臨伝芸鉄地上異少子各入辱上無意楽一致春人異合入仏教大事主水道上西無変極辱ある道徳自主道心唯化心死 枝の五輪気はもなし遅くか来る者は皆有無を離ると述べたの平等格に奇妙せよ幸運無限予告一切の上に触りなし大田区かむらぬ者ぞなき何しりを奇妙せよ少女公女並びなし武士公のゆえなれば一切の豪家も除かりぬ一挙へを奇妙せよ仏教商用最大師公園の仏と名付けたり三途の国安開くなり太陽を奇妙せよ万に宿道区平等正祭同法古代心往生安楽の問答その問答ですね
Hello there and good morning, everyone. I wanted to start off by talking a little bit about the history of Memorial Day. Humans have had rituals about decorating the graves of fallen soldiers since ancient times, but Memorial Day as we know it has its origins in the aftermath of the American Civil War. When the country was still reeling from the loss of over 600,000 soldiers from the North and South. What began as groups of veterans and wives of soldiers decorating the military cemeteries would eventually be formalized as a natural national celebration known as Decoration Day. While originally established to remember the soldiers of the Civil War, Decoration Day would change to remember soldiers who had died during America's war since. Decoration Day would eventually become Memorial Day, and it is important for us to remember the servicemen and women who died fighting under the American flag. But Memorial Day and this Sunday gives us an opportunity to remember the victims and people who died in all wars and to examine what we can learn from war. War is one of the most traumatic things humanity has invented, an art that we as a species have worked to perfect over the course of our history. War over territory, war over resources, there are countless reasons why humans have fought each other. At the heart is our human need at the heart of our human need to fight with one another are the three poisons of greed, anger, and ignorance. These are what drive people to believe that one country has right to dominate a weaker country, to invade another country, to attack another human being. These are the workings of our own fear, our own anger and ignorance about other people at work. And it is also because of these three poisons that I'm only able to view the world and these conflicts filtered through my own limited viewpoint, to see things through the lens of my own preconceived notions. Since I was young, I've been fascinated and terrified by war. While I was still a child, the Cold War was in its last years. I marveled at the beautiful aircraft and tanks of that era through books in the library and model kits that I built with plastic glue at home. In school, we learned a little bit about the Second World War, about the actions of Hitler, Nazi Germany, and Imperial Japan, a tiny bit about the battles of those wars and the war coming to an end. And, well, we learned even less about the Korean War, Vietnam, and the conflicts that followed. I think growing up in the 1980s and 1990s, we didn't want to think about war. We saw it as something of winners and losers, of heroes and villains, the United States fighting against the Soviet Union and against communist China. All of these were sort of filtered through our own lens growing up in the United States. And a lot of this viewpoint was stoked by the media that we consumed. The movies that portrayed, our side, whoever that was, as the unquestionable heroes, and the other side as the unquestionable villains. It was a very black and white way to grow up. They talk about playing cowboys and Indians when you're a kid, and that you never think of yourself as maybe having any kind of responsibility or maybe doing something wrong. But ever since I was a kid, I've been fascinated by the Second World War in particular. The conflict is so large it encompassed every spot on the globe had some kind of involvement in the war. And with the 75th anniversary of the end of the Second World War in Europe, I've been reading a lot of books about the conflict. And what you find about the war is that it really, although there are stories of individual courage, of people fighting to protect their buddies, of young men on both sides of the war thrown into just a terrible, dangerous, and deadly experience, you find that all these people were just regular human beings. In the years since the Second World War, in these 75 years, we've built up a legend about the heroes and the villains of the war. We've made everybody into these almost caricatures of who they really were, and we've forgotten that at their heart, these were real people who have histories, who were, filled with the same greed, anger, and ignorance that we are. In particular, many of the historians say that we must not look at people like Adolf Hitler as a unique evil in human history. What our own Shinran Shonin would say is that, we're capable of any kind of evil based on our own causes and conditions. And it's these causes and conditions that make these books so fascinating. These stories of human beings doing the best they can and experiencing some of the greatest difficulties that humankind has ever faced. Being able to read these books, and even though I'm seeing it through my lens, it really has opened my eyes to how little of this we actually learned in school, and that things are much more in shades of gray than plain black and white. And so 75 million people plus, over 75 million people died in the Second World War. Just in that war alone, I think it's just slightly less than the current population of Thailand. If the entire country of Thailand disappeared right now, that would represent how many people perished during the Second World War. And these were not just the soldiers fighting at Omaha Beach or in Stalingrad, but the civilians who died under bombing campaigns or through starvation. The over 6 million people lost in the Holocaust. The figures are staggering. And it's very easy to study war through just numbers. How many boats landed at the beaches of Normandy? How many troops did the Germans use for the Blitzkrieg? These are very easy to use numbers, but behind each one of these 75 million people is a story, a face, a human being who wanted to live. We remember them through the stories that were passed down to us, through the pictures that we have from that time. But it's important that we remember them as human beings, that they face the same challenges that we do now, and that we're able to look at the way that they approached life, the way that they tackled these huge, huge struggles the best they could, and try to find what the lesson is for our lives. A film that I saw when I was in Japan, and it really was quite amazing. It was actually recommended to me by my dad, who watches far more Japanese anime than I ever have. It's quite strange. But he recommended an anime called In This Corner of the World. Kono sekai no katasumi ni. It's a story of a young girl growing up in Hiroshima, getting married and experiencing the difficulties of war. And it's a kind of story that I never would have heard growing up in the United States. A story that we certainly didn't want to think about. Somebody who endured the atomic bombing, who endured the fire bombings of the war, and the incredible struggles of trying to live during and after the war. And even though it's such a beautiful anime, it captures the true ugliness of war. We try not to think too much about the people who die in war. We want to remember our heroes, and we want to forget the people who have been on the other side of those wars. But they're as human as you and I. Coming here to Hawaii and living in Japan, you get to see that the reminders of war are always there. The bullet holes in the hangar at Pearl Harbor, and the Genbaku Dome, the former industrial promotion center that is one of the few surviving structures from the atomic bombing at Hiroshima. It's very different from living in the mainland in Los Angeles. We never encountered any of the bombings that had happened to countries in Europe or Japan or here in Hawaii. And so all those things seem so far away. Even September 11th, we're terrified that the war would come to us, but it never really did. Part of the modern way that we have compartmentalized wars, we think of it as something that is very far away. It's happening in some country that we've never learned about, like Yemen or Syria. It's something that we don't have to worry about. But these buildings remind us that we're not that far removed from war. So there's this wonderful British comedy program that they had a sketch of these two German Nazi officials. And, they're coming to the end of the war, and they're talking amongst themselves, and they're thinking, are we actually the bad guys? One of them looks at the other one and notices, we have a skull for our emblem, and, we have the swastika here. It seems kind of evil. Is it possible, maybe, that we might be on the wrong side? And I think, it's a very funny sketch, but it illustrates to us that it's this self-centered point of view that we never want to see ourselves as an evil person. We always want to see us as being on the right side of things, always doing the right thing, but it can be us having that single-minded belief in our own correctness that actually leads us to hurt others. In the Tanisho, Shinran is quoted as saying, "It is not that you do not kill because your heart is good. In the same way, a person who may wish not to harm anyone, or a person who does not wish to harm anyone, can end up killing 100 or 1,000 people." And that's in chapter 13 of the Tanisho. Shinran realized that, he was the most evil person capable of great harm to other people, someone who is, by his very nature, full of these three poisons of greed, anger, and ignorance. And he was a bombu, a ignorant, ordinary person. And that it was his realization of his own foolish nature that changed his whole outlook on the world. We think of ourselves as, most of the time we think of ourselves as always trying to do the right thing. We're correct, and, this other person, they had the wrong idea. We think of other people as, in terms of being an inconvenience to us or being wrong. But, one of the first things that I remember hearing from Bishop Ito in Los Angeles was he said that, if you point a finger at someone else, you should point your other 4 fingers back at yourself. The wonderful gift that we receive from Shinran Shonin and Shakyamuni Buddha is the ability to analyze ourselves through the lens of Buddhism, to see that we are full of these poisons, that we're, coursing with anger, ignorance, and greed, that these are the root of why we go to war. This, it's not that, a certain culture, a certain country, they're just evil. It's all our own human ignorance acting up within us. And, if we don't realize it, it just builds up and it builds up, and you end up with, guns and tanks and bombs against other people. When you can see other people as less than yourself and, wholly disconnected from the reality of interdependence that we have with each other, it becomes very easy to go to war with someone, to think of it as justified. But I think all these people who died in the war, for this all-war memorial service, the wish that they have for us living in the present is to try to accept this ignorance that we have within ourselves, to accept that we have this greed, anger, and stupidity, and to reevaluate the relationship that we have with other people. Just by ourselves, we're not able to stop tanks from rolling. We're not able to stop bombers from flying in the sky. But we're able to make changes in the way that we treat the people in our lives, to try to cultivate peace among each other, with our family and friends. The arguments we have with our family and friends, these are the seed of these greater conflicts we have in the world. And Buddhism is a really wonderful thing because it gives us something to aspire towards. It's asking us to listen to this calling voice that comes from deep inside that is wishing for peace. In the larger sutra, when Dharmakara, the king who gave up his crown to seek to become a Buddha, he's talking to his sensei, he's talking to his teacher, and he's making these vows that, these vows that took 5 eons to think of. And the first one that he says is that, if in this pure land, in this Buddha land that I create, if there are still the hells, the 3 hells of, that are representing greed, anger, and ignorance, if these still exist in my pure land, then, I won't be able to attain Buddhahood. And that it's this deep wish to escape from these sufferings. That's a wish that we can receive from the people who passed away before us, the people who died during these wars, is to try to cultivate peace in our own lives here and now. And that's what we can hear when we hear and say Namu Amida Butsu, wishing for peace in our own time. I'd like to thank you folks very much for listening, and we'll now have a Japanese message by Himban Kawawata.
問答をつながったはい、皆さんおはようございます。ようこそメモリアルデイのお参りにおいでくださいました。こうしてもう2ヶ月3月からですね、5月までこうライブストリーミングを通して皆様とお会いしております。徐々に生活の規制も緩くなっておりますが、皆さんどうぞお大事にですね、お暮らししていただきたいと思います。本日はこのウィークエンドはメモリアルデーということで、このアメリカ全体では戦争で亡くなられた方々、兵士の方々、また一般に亡くなられた方々にですね、敬意を払い、このメモリアルデーをお参りすることであります。今、私たちがこうして、平和に暮らしているということは、やはり、多くの方の犠牲の上に立っているわけであります。どんな社会においてもですね、調和をもって平和に暮らすことは本当に大事なことであると思いますし、それには私どもがお互いにですね、耳を傾け言っていることをですね、聞き合うということが大事であります。戦争という行為は本当に悲惨な行為であります。ここのハワイに来て、私はたまにですね、海上自衛隊の方々がこちらに来られるときに、墓地に参拝したり、またですね、いろいろな機会で、そういう方々に会うことがあります。そういう時にですね、思うことは、この若い方たちがですね、もし戦争が起こった時には、この若い方たちが一番最初に戦い、そして死んでいくなくちゃならないんだ。このことはですね、どこの軍隊でも同じことであります。アメリカの軍隊でも若い方々が、多くですね、 入隊されて訓練を受けてですね、何かあった時のためにですね、準備をしております。ですから、私どもがもし戦争という行為を起こすとすると、この若い方たちが一番最初に犠牲になることであります。昔はそのようなことは一切思いませんでした。しかしながら、このような若者たちを見て、まだ20代の若者たちを見るときに、本当にこの方たちを死なしてはいけないんだということを感じます。ですから私たちは互いのコミュニケーションというものを大事にしてですね、戦争というものが回避され、ですね、このメモリアルデーがですね、本当にただ昔の記憶に残るようなですね、なるように願うことであります。このメモリアルデーというのは、このアメリカでは1861年に、バージニア州のウォーレンというところで、最初に行われたと言われております。南北戦争で亡くなられた兵士の方々のために、お墓にお参りし、そのお墓をですね、お花で飾り付けた。これがメモリアルデーの始まりであったと言われております。そして第一次大戦後には、このメモリアルデーはアメリカのために亡くなったすべての兵士の方をですね、が含まれるようになったですしかしご存知のように、戦争が始まると、軍隊に奉仕された方でなく、民間の方々も戦争の犠牲になります。これは先の太平洋戦争や過去の戦争を見れば明らかであります。ですから、ここで私どもはメモリアルデーというものを通して、先に亡くなった方々のためのですね、メモリアルサービス、追悼式を行います。私どもはですね、自衛のため、または国益のため、領土問題のためなどのために戦争をします。これはやはり人間の持つ自我、または煩悩のですね、延長上にあることであります。私どもは自分中心の生き方を常にいたします。それが大きくなるとですね、村の利益を守るため、町の利益を守るため、または国の利益を守るためといって戦いを始めることであります。私どもは平和と幸福のためにですね、戦いを始めます。しかし真に平和と調和というものを求めているならば、その武力に頼らずな解決方法を見つける必要があるのであります。子どもであってもですね、お互いの喧嘩というものはですね、いけないことなのだ、傷つけ合うことなのはいけないことなのだということは誰しもが分かっていることであります。しかしながら私どもの現実というものはどうしても自分たちの利益のために戦いを始めます。解決策を武器に依存することなくですね、見つけ出すということが大事なことであります。すべて私たちの欲というものによって、無視ということによって戦いまたは争いが起こります。これは私どもが持っているですね、人間のですね、差がといいますか、本性であると思います。煩悩具足の凡夫という表現で親鸞上人はされますが、私たちは本当にその煩悩ですね、三毒の毒を持った人間であるということを自覚することが大事にあります。聖徳太子はこのようなことを言われております。我必ずしも聖にあらず、彼必ずしも愚にあらず、愚かではない。共にこれ凡夫のみ。こういうふうに17条憲法の中で言われております。人間がですね、本当に調和をしていくときに、私どもは
対話をもってですね、行わなくてならないということを聖徳太子は知られていたのであります。ですから私たちは自分自身のですね、本質、人間とは一体何なのか、自分は一体どんな人間なのかということを知る必要があると思います。仏教は自覚度です。このメモリアルデーを通して、亡くなったことを忍び、戦争という行為、また自分自身を知っていくということが大事なことであると思います。このお話の終わりに、明けガラス隼という先生が書かれたですね、文章をお読みしたいと思います。傲慢さ、放慢さと品欲がですね、戦争の原因であります。尊敬と愛が平和の元であります。仏教は強くなるという教えではありません。仏様の教えは他の人を尊敬し受け入れるための教えであります。尊重とですね、尊重ということは、この教えの原点であります。一入の世界で尊重され、抱擁される自己を実現することであります。日本の手紙は敬意をもって始まります。そして敬意でもって終わります。背景という言葉で始まります。そして敬具という言葉で終わります。仏道でも茶道でも武道でも敬意をもって始まります。礼をもって始まります。子どもは親をですね、敬い、親は子どもを敬う、夫婦は互いに敬い合う、また兄弟は互いに敬い合うのです。それが私たちの日常生活の中にあるのであります。南無阿弥陀仏はですね、両方ですね、敵も味方もですね、尊重し受け入れることを意味します。南無阿弥陀仏という世界はの中には敵も味方もいない。仏法の世界には敵も味方もいない。そう内側にも外側にも南無阿弥陀仏ということがあると思います。ですから私たちは本当にですね、どのように他人を尊重できるのかね、それが私どものですね、私どもの世界の平和と調和を保つ、または発見ができることであると思います。最後に、私の学生時代はまだ反戦というですね、ちょうどベトナム戦争で反戦のですね、機運が高まっておりました。また、先の太平洋戦争などの反省を込めた歌がたくさん作られました。今日は最後にその反戦の歌をですね、歌ってみたいと思います。この歌は幻の翼とともにというですね、歌で西岡隆という方が作られた歌です。今でも僕は思い出すのさ、あの頃のこと、あの日の人、僕と同じ学生だった。国のためと死んでいった。君は若くたくましく短い命だったが、幻の翼とともに炎の中に消えてしまった。君は若くたくましく短 短い命だったが幻の翼とともにこの中に消えてしまった。君はあの夜私に言った。恋人と別れてきたと僕は今も覚えているさ。あの時の君の眼差し。君が死んだ次の夜に悲しい涙であの子は死んだ。もう嫌だこんな世界はもう二度と見たくない。君が死んだ次の夜に悲しい涙であの子は死んだ。もう嫌だこんな世界はもう二度と見たくない。ラララララララララララララララララはい、ありがとうございます。ではまた来週皆さんとお会いします。生んだおつまみ。
Thank you very much, Jinban, for that beautiful song. Something that, we often don't think about, but all these people who fought in wars on either side, each of these people had girlfriends and family members that they loved and who loved them. And it's important to remember that these are human beings. The experience of being in Japan and, my schoolmates were mostly young Japanese guys, and thinking that if this had been 70, 75 years before, we would have been on opposite sides of a war. Well, I probably would have been in a camp or something like that, but that just by chance of where we were born, our cause and conditions, that we would be forced to fight and kill people who, we can see now are capable of becoming our friends. That's one of the truly terrible things about war, and one of the many reasons why we should avoid it if we can. One of my big inspirations, I would highly recommend going to Higashi Hongwanji USA. It's a website for writings from all of our Higashi ministers here and on the mainland. And Reverend Fred Branian has a wonderful piece about peace when he was talking about Veterans Day. And that was tremendously inspiring to me. So please go and read it. I'll try to link to it in the description. Okay, so for our activities for the month, May, all we have left coming up is on the 28th is our Shinran Shonin Memorial live stream. So it'll be on Facebook Live just like this, and we have a special kind of chanting that we do on that day. And so you can come out and chant along with us or just listen to us chanting. For June, we have our Shotsuki Memorial Service on the 7th. And so that'll have a Dharma message by Rinban Kawata. And on the 7th, we'll have our Basic Buddhism discussion on Zoom. So please join us for that. Send us an email, betsuin@hhbt-hi.org, if you would like to get a link to that. And the next day, on that Tuesday, we have our Basic Buddhism discussion in Larger Sutra study class in English on Tuesday the 9th. And on the 14th of June, we're going to have our Sunday service. I'll be doing the message for that. So please join us for those. Are we mentioning the change in the rules about coming in, or? Yeah. But yeah, please come and watch us on Facebook for those. And we really appreciate everybody, both here in Hawaii and on the mainland, for tuning in. So we're going to close the service by singing Ondok-san. So if you'll please put your hands together, we'll sing together. Thank you once again for joining us for our All War Memorial Service. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please stay safe out there. I know that things are kind of starting to open up, but please be careful. We don't want to have all of you getting sick. Thank you, and have a great day. Yes, please help yourself to refreshments in your own fridge and in your own kitchen, and take care.